I don't know if it counts as peer pressure, but I definitely felt a pressure to have a certain look in school, a certain flair. Because of that, when I was about 10, I started to spike my hair with gel. From the 4th grade until the end of the 8th grade, I had a pretty simple hair routine. I would start off with a number 3 buzz cut. A month or so later, I would reach what scientists call peak spike conditions. That's the month or so where I would spike my hair. When it got too long for that, I would just wear a hat for about a month or two. Then I would start it all over with a buzz cut. It was simple. Buzz, gel, hat. Buzz, gel, hat. Buzz, gel, hat. Budgelat, budgelat. Sounds kind of yummy. Budgelat, like a exotic ice cream. I noticed pretty early on how much hair was leaving my head every time I used that goopy scented stuff. But did that stop me? I'm asking you. Did that stop me? No. You know that. Yeah, I wasn't even a teenager yet and I noticed I was losing my hair. And listen, I don't know if the gel played any role in me going bald. It only plays a small role in the story because that was the reason I noticed so much hair leaving my head every morning. It forced me to be confronted with the irrefutable evidence that I was going to be bald. I looked around. Why is that in all caps? I looked around, seeking answers to some questions. Does the universe have a beginning? Does it have an end? What is time? But more relevant to this video, Mommy, did you do this to me? I don't want to be putting my parents' scalps on blast, but trust me, this was an inside job. I realized it is because of them, yet not their fault, that I carried the genes that would make me go bald like Costanza. I was quite terrified that I would be bald by the time I was like 18 or 20. And who could love a bald guy? I would be ugly and die alone. I wonder how connected my fear of ending up bald was to my desperation to finding the one. You know, like the one I would marry. Not that I believe in destiny or that there is a one for everyone, but I did spend a lot of my, teenage years focusing on finding love, as corny as that sounds. Well, eventually I turned 18, and I wasn't nearly as bald as Vin Diesel, but the signs were there, and they were much clearer than they were when I was 12. I'm about 5'7", so obviously in high school there were people that were taller than me, and a couple of them did point out, "Yo, dude, you're going bald." In fact, the earliest I remember another student pointing out that my hair was starting to get thin on top was in the 8th grade. Ouch. In my early 20s, I did the typical balding guy thing. I cut the hair a little shorter on the sides, and I let it grow a little longer on top to try. I don't know what I was trying, but if you don't try, whatever, I'll just cut this part out. I took some pills that were supposed to help, but all it did was make my poop oddly green. I used the product, you know the one. I put it on my head. Nothing. This was a steep uphill battle, and I give up easily, guys. If at first I don't succeed, I just move on with my life. So that's what I did. But every now and then, out of curiosity, I'd go online and see if there's any new developments in the field, any new anti-balding developments. Here, I'm going to read you some of the ones that I remember people talking about all the time. Shave it off, and it'll grow back stronger. Lay down with your head over the edge of your bed for a few minutes every day. That way, the extra blood flow helps your hair grow. Eat better. Exercise. Maybe you have a disease. Maybe you have 2 diseases. Maybe it's your genetics. Maybe the universe is in a constant state of existence and it has no beginning nor end, and our brains just freak out when we try to understand that. Are you stressed? It could be stress. Maybe wear a toupee. I actually have nothing against toupees. I know Hollywood usually makes fun of men who wear toupees, but if that's you, congratulations, respect. Takes a lot of courage, but it's not for me. But hey, it is an option. Maybe it's your genetics. With nothing to turn to, my hair routine became even simpler. I just buzzed it more frequently and shorter every time. I went from a number 3 to a number 2 to a number 1. I remember the feeling of going outside and feeling like people could tell that I'm going bald. That they could just, oh, look at that guy. He's so bald and he's so ugly. I couldn't go grocery shopping, to the beach, out for coffee, none of that stuff, without feeling a little ugly, truth be told. All this, even though during high school, I did start to put a little bit less emphasis on like my appearance and I stopped caring about it so much. But the little bit that it did bother me still bothered me a little bit because I mean, come on, it's right there. It's not like something on your back that you can hide. It's one of the first few things people are going to notice. It's bald. And on top of that, I had a scar that's right there too. It's not very visible these days, but I was very insecure and that just added to it. But one day I decided enough is enough. And I decided to go full shave. A couple of my coworkers had already suggested to just go for the full shave because I have a good head shape, whatever that means. I mean, I get. You tell me how. Can you see that? Is that good enough? I don't know what that means. But I took it. I took that as a compliment, and it did give me the little push I needed to be like, you know what? I will do that. I'll do that. To ease the transition, I even moved from a number 1 buzz cut to 0, just the shortest that the machine would allow me to go without anything on it, just bzz, bzz, bzz. And that definitely helped. Eventually, the big day arrived, and I shaved it all off. And guess what? Just stepping into the hallway from my apartment, liberating. Stepping outside was even better because guess what? Nobody cared. And of course they won't care. They don't know you. They're living their own lives and you're living your life. But that's just the sort of anxiety that's going through your head when you're going bald. I think it took at most like a week or two for my confidence to like be boosted back to like what a normal person should be. In fact, it's gotten to the point where if someone wants to either playfully or seriously wants to like make fun of me for something and what they resort to going to is like, hey, you're bald, guy. It just bounces. You see this? Boom, it just bounces right off and it does nothing for me. And I kind of feel bad for you that you think that that's the thing that you should point out about someone right away. But if I was in my early 20s, yeah, critical hit and super effective, that would have hurt. It would have hurt. But now, doesn't bother me. You know what? Type it in the chat. Make fun of me in the chat for being bald. I dare you. I dare you to. I'm going to hunt you down. Yeah, do it. So here's the thing, guys. I am what I am. I think I know that, and I think I've always known that. But I'm still human, and I'm still subject to the same insecurities everyone else feels. And overall, I don't really think going bald affected me that much. On a scale of 1 to 10, maybe on average 4 or 5. On the worst days, maybe a 6 or 7, but not too bad. Putting that into perspective, I definitely feel bad for the people out there, men and women out there who may have thin hair, because it's not just something that affects men. I know it affects mainly men, but I'm just saying, I feel bad for people out there who are going bald and it affects them a lot more, maybe at 8, 9, or 10. I feel bad for you guys, and I really hope that you find a solution for your problem. Which leads me to talk about one of the solutions I didn't talk about earlier, which is a hair transplant. For whatever reason, hair transplants have never been an option for me. No matter what the price is. Even if you tell me, bro, it only costs $500 and whatever, I'm not going to do it. Okay? I'm not going to do it. Stop asking. I know you probably already typed that comment. Stop asking it. In fact, I remember being at a buddy's house that I've known since high school, and I think this was probably when I was still just buzzing the hair really short, and his mom asked me, why don't you go to Turkey? It's super cheap. Just go and get it done there. Nah, it's not for me. If it works for you, that's good. It's just not for me. I don't feel like it would work for me. I think that because I always buzzed my hair pretty short, it helped me being okay with just shaving it all off. And therefore, I don't really think that the hair transplant would work for me. But like I said, I'm still human with human emotions. Trust me. I'm not AI. Okay? It's also very worth noting that because I noticed that I was losing my hair at such a young age, that it helped me prepare way in advance for the eventuality of it. Therefore, when it came time to execute the plan, I just did it with determination. But was I afraid that being bald would make me ugly? Was I afraid that I'd end up alone and nobody would ever love me? Yes, I was. But as I've gotten older, those thoughts seem pretty ridiculous. All right, we gotta wrap this up. If you're going bald, or if you think you're going bald, just suck it up, you big baby. No, I'm just joking. I don't know what advice to give you. I don't even know you. But hopefully, you can hear my story, see things the way that I saw them, through my point of view, and maybe it can help you somehow, some way. From my point of view, it's just hair. It shouldn't dictate so much of our lives, and we shouldn't depend on it to allow ourselves to feel attractive. If you're anxious, scared, or stressed because you're going bald, I hope you find inner peace. Whether you deal with it by wearing a hat, shaving it, wearing a toupee, getting a hair transplant, whatever you do, I just hope you decide to do it quick. And I say to do it quickly, not to rush you. It's just the more time you take to decide how you want to deal with the fact that you're bald is the more stress, the more anxiety that you're going to have to live with. And that's time of your life that you're going to waste obsessing about this thing. And I know it's not easy, right? I know it's hard because I lived it. But that's how you have to try to view it. That every day that you just don't do that decisive action of, I'm going to do it this way, I'm going to do it that way. Every day that you don't do that, it's another day wasted. Another day of your life wasted, not living a little bit closer to inner peace. And I think that's what we all deserve, a little bit of inner peace. And why let something so silly ruin our lives? It's not worth it, guys. It is not worth it. So that's it for the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're bald, peace. If you're not bald and you know a bald person, give them put a little bit of lipstick on and don't tell them that now they have a kiss mark on their head. Leave a like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, live your life.